Yes, this could be a silly 10-second video where I and ah and then show the Battle Sisters unit, and I know a few of you have been expecting this video for a while. Battle Sisters are the only Battleline unit in the Adepta Sororitas Codex. Although Dominions and Novitiates have similar abilities to the Battle Sister squad like the same simulacrum, only the Battle Sisters have the Battleline keyword, and that is important. This could have been a joke video, but I thought about it more and more, and there is depth to it. There are choices. You are not limited to the Battle Sisters as your only Battleline unit. More are available through Imperial allies, the Agents of the Imperium and the Imperial Knights. May their rules remain valid into next edition alongside any other factions that allow allies. Battleline units are important to the Pariah Nexus mission deck because of the way it works. The missions want you to complete actions. 4 of the 9 primary missions have actions, 5 of the secondary missions out of 18 have actions, and some require multiple actions to be completed within the turn. You need units that can complete actions to score points in the Pariah Nexus mission deck. The amount of victory points you get is low, so if you can kill your opponent's units, which has its own secondary missions associated, and also have units to complete actions, then you have a higher chance of victory. Battleline units can do both of these things, killing and scoring, even though the killing is sometimes also scoring. I believe these missions are weighted more towards 2,000 points when you have more units to perform actions, but if you're playing a 1,000 point game or anything in between, you need Battleline units that can do both. So that's what we want to be looking at. And Battleline units are key because of the mission rules. There is no chilling rain in the Pariah Nexus mission deck, there will always be a twist of some sort. Battleline units can advance and complete actions. Battleline units can complete actions when in engagement range. Battleline units can shoot and still complete actions. Or they can go to ground and heroically intervene for free. Or they score a few extra victory points, just by being the ones holding the objective. The card draw is random, and Battleline may not be needed, but if you are playing a tournament recommended mission set, 13 of the 20 mission sets have some part including Battleline units getting a bonus. And if you do really badly at the primary mission but have lots of Battleline units, the War of Attrition secret mission can win you the game. 60 Battle Sisters is not a meme! It's a good idea! You can take up to 6 Battleline units while other units are maxed out at 3 of any one kind. So what can our girls do, the Battle Sisters we have at home? Their advantages are they can deal damage with melter weapons and flamer weapons in some combination or exclusively going for one or the other. If you know Stalwarts is the mission rule, crack on lass! They shoot pretty well and then can do actions. They can survive surprisingly well with an Imagifier or a Hospitaller. They don't stop being Battleline when you have a character attached. The Hospitaller especially will help you hold an objective, and it is easier for your unit to complete actions if they're not dead. Some of the actions like Terraform or Scorched Earth are only completed at the end of your opponent's turn, so you need to survive. If you need more Battleline units, or generally more units, having an Immolator split the Battle Sisters gives you 2 units of Battle Sisters. One unit has to start the game inside the Immolator, but there is nothing to stop you disembarking the unit immediately and embarking Retributors or 2 units of 3 Arcoflagellants. Then it can transport them into the battle. If you want to further increase the damage output of your Battle Sister unit, you can add characters like Juna Tharutia adds more heavy flamers for a tasty overwatch in a unit that has a hand flamer, a heavy flamer, and a Ministorm flamer. To give their guns more power, Astrid and Agatha can add devastating wounds to the unit, but I prefer to pair them with Dominions whose Stormbolters have more shots. Or Flamers have more shots, because there's more Flamers and more Stormbolters. A Palatine will give the Battle Sisters unit lethal hits and is a waiting assassin. In the Army of Faith with the Blade of St. Eleanor, she has precision all of the time without needing to use Epic Challenge, and as per the Mortal Wounds rule, any mortal wounds caused by the Rapturous Blows also land on the enemy character. That can get through their invulnerable save. But in the Army of Faith, you can also add a Dialogus for greater benefit, then 2 of your shots that you use Miracle Dice on become 6s. Overwatch with a Meltagun or a Multi-Melter can guarantee the death of an enemy monster or vehicle without rolling any dice. Spend 1 Miracle Dice on the hit roll, the Dialogus makes it a 6th, the necessary hit number to succeed at Overwatch. And it is considered an unmodified dice, so this is a lethal hit from the Palatine and auto wounds. Then you use another miracle dice for damage. With the Melter rule, that is 8 wounds, assuming the AP-4 goes straight through the enemy armor save. That is nasty, as long as you have the miracle dice. In the Adepta Sororitas Codex, the Battle Sisters are the only unit that can have 2 characters in the same unit. Check your support characters. Any of them that have a rule that says they can double up on the number of characters within a unit is only on the Battle Sister squad. This squad with those keywords. There are other characters to add to a Battle Sister squad, like a Canoness, but I would only do that if there were several stratagems you knew you wanted to use on them. I would probably leave that for Army of Faith to have Divine Guidance or Blinding Radiance as you need it. But you can't go far wrong with grenades. A Dogmata is also an option, but they're not really worth the points. OC32 from a squad is fun as a concept, but you don't need that in your games. And you can never increase the size of a Battle Sister squad for more than their set 10. So you can get crazy with this and spread them out over like 3 objectives, each model having objective control 3. So what are the alternatives to this great battle line unit? Small cheap units are valuable to hold objectives and complete missions. If you are playing a non-tournament game, you can take Crusaders and Death Cult Assassins. They are not in the Codex, they are in Legends. But they got a boost compared to the Adepta Sororitas Index and went up to 2 wounds, upsetting Sacrosanct Enjoyers everywhere. These cheap units are perfect for completing actions, which allows the rest of the army to focus on other parts of the primary mission and murder-related secondaries. If you are playing a more restrictive rule set like a tournament game, 3 Arcoflagellants is still a valid unit size in this edition. Arcoflagellants have drawbacks compared to Sisters. Half a squad of Battle Sisters split by an Immolator will be better. They have an armor save. They can stick at the objective with their Defenders of the Faith ability, so if an artillery bombardment took them out, you keep the objective, which Arcoflagellants outside of the Penitent host would not. The Sisters have higher objective control, so you can't be muscled off by a couple of dudes turning up. There are more Sisters than Arcoflagellants, so shots from one heavy mortar with damage 2 won't take all of them out, and as I've explained, the Sisters are battle line, which comes with a lot of advantages. Cheap units with the useful battleline keyword can be found in the Imperial Agents Codex. There is a limit to the number of units you can add to your army with the assigned agents rule, so you can't stack your army with 6 of them. For games of more than 1,000 points and 2,000 points, it is 2 of these units. We want that battleline keyword for the little bonus. At least for this video, which is about the best battleline units for the Adepta Sororitas. Like Voidsmen at Arms are no longer battleline in the Codex. They are 70 points for 6 of them at the moment, which isn't better than Inquisitorial Henchmen who are 60 points for 6 and also aren't battleline. You could take either. Their job is to stand guard, have a smoke, and occasionally press buttons to make the beep boop actions happen. Grey Knight Terminators from Imperial Agents are not battleline. They are only battleline in the Grey Knight's Index and presumably Codex. They are a very tough unit that can keep regenerating with their Narthesium. We have tough Paragon warsuits to fulfill a similar role. As requisitioned units, they can be allied in, but not for this video. Battleline units are the focus. But if we think of requisitioned units, you could instead have more Battle Sisters. 70 Battle Sisters! They wouldn't be battleline, add no miracle dice, can't use miracle dice, can't be joined by our characters because they are a Sisters of Battle squad, not keyword Battle Sister squad. But there is a free command point reroll from their cherub, and for some reason, their tiny knives are AP1. 6 Battle Sister units is more than enough for anyone. I would like some other units to cause damage. A Vigilant squad brings the lore and battleline keyword to the witches we hunt. But they are units of 11 minimum, so Arcoflagellants are the cheaper option at 45 points for 3 rather than 85 points for 11. The points may be different when you are watching this, but for 10 to 20 points more, depending on the time of year it is, you can upgrade a Vigilant squad to a Battle Sister squad. It was 10 points difference in like June 2024, 20 points difference in February 2025. If you have another Battle Sister squad, well, they can use Miracle Dice. They generate Miracle Dice from their Simulacrum and when they die, and they have the Sticky Objectives rule that keeps an objective under your control. If you want a Vigilant squad, their weapons don't really matter, but don't take the Executioner shotgun. We like the unit because you get a dog, but you want to be cheap. So if you can't include 2 squads of 2 Crusaders for 80 points, 85 points for a Vigilant squad is a better objective holder than Arcoflagellants. They're about the same points as 2 squads of 3 Arcoflagellants. But Arcoflagellants get access to the army rules and detachment rules. They can be useful as little holding units. The Penitent Host detachment turns their blood sticky. I mean, you get the objective secured rule, which we call sticky objectives, and you control the objective after death. The blood of martyrs, however unwilling, is valuable. Imperial Navy breaches are about the same points as the Adeptus Arbites Vigilant squad, are less thematic, but better equipped. The Navy boys can bring a plasma gun or melter gun, can use the grenade stratagem at 18 inches once per battle, have a couple of power weapons, and demo charge. Though shorter range than the Gene Stealer cult demo charges. I wouldn't bother with their chain fist. 1 attack hitting on a 5+ is not worth the loss of a shotgun. Their special rule is better than the Arbiters. You can reroll wound rolls of 1, or all the wound rolls against an enemy on an objective. They can cause some damage, but that is more their focus. Again, if you have a mission that lets you shoot and complete actions at the same time, this is great. To better fit in the Sisters of Battle theme, they could be novitiates with shotguns. But yet again, I prefer Battle Sisters. Sisters can potentially generate miracle dice by holding on to the objective. We need to do both of those things. The Sisters can cause a similar amount of damage with bigger weapons like the Multi-Melter, and if I want to do damage, there are better units than some shotguns. We don't need battle line units with 10 or 11 models. We can have one bigger one. The Free Blades rule allows you to take up to 3 armigers. They're battle line. They don't get their own detachment rule or stratagems, they don't get our detachment rule or stratagems. There is the Helverin and the Warglaive armigers. Hang on, it will depend on the mission rule, but this could be really, really good. At 2,000 points, having an armiger outflank and arrive turn 1, or armiger shooting and still completing actions if that is the mission rule. They don't get Sisters detachment rules like the Bringers of Flame detachment bonus, but can provide great melter damage to any detachment. If they remain cheaper than the Adepta Sororitas tanks, especially the Castigator, I prefer the big melter-toting chain cleaver wielding armiger Warglaive. This is the biggest sibling of the Distraction Penitent engine. It distracts even harder. The Helverin is the more shooty armiger with the low armor penetration autocannons. I prefer the Warglaives for their versatility. A third choice is the Battle Line Armiger Moirox. The ranged weapons are underwhelming. Either they have no armor penetration, or like the Conversion Beamer, it's one shot. The Graviton Pulsar is a middle ground, but with low AP and 2 damage, it isn't going to hurt vehicles much even if it wounds them on a 2+. At that point you use the Helverin's autocannons, or you could use the Moirox Siege Claw and a ranged weapon of your choice. That has some damage and you get a free heroic intervention, but I prefer the Armiger Warglaive for the high damage thermal spear, 2 shots instead of 1 from the Conversion Beamer, and a versatile chain cleaver that can have lots of attacks to get through ambitious hordes seeking to tie it up. The last one for damage, and some decent objective controllability, are the Ordo Xenos Death Watch Kill Team. It's Battle Line. They use the Imperial Agents version of their rules from the Imperial Agents Codex, not the Space Marine Death Watch Index version of their rules, so there's no Oath of Moment. But they do reroll hit rolls of 1 anyway, and get full rerolls to hit against any units that are not Imperium or Chaos. You're not really taking these units for the battle line ability, but for their stats. It's the pure hitting power of the datasheet, as there are no stratagems or detachment rule bonuses. A squad of 5 can provide a strong counter-attacking unit out of your deployment zone, or you could load up a unit of 10 in a Rhino and drive them at the enemy and smash a unit of your choice. You can have 2 Deathwatch Thunderhammers for every 5 Deathwatch veterans in the unit, and that is the weapon you should be aiming for. The Sergeant will want a Xenophase Blade, and probably a combi weapon, and I can recommend a Frag Cannon and or Infernus Heavy Bolter, but you don't have to. The Sniper and the Shotgun are not worth the loss of the power weapon. But dropping the Bolt Gun but keeping the power weapon on 2 Marines, you can take an Astartes Shield for a 4+ Invuln save. That is worth it to endure any high AP attacks coming your way. The Deathwatch veterans are 100 points for 5, so that is half the objective control of a Battle Sister squad, because there's 10 Battle Sisters, but it's the same number of wounds and a better toughness and invulnerable save with the shields. The damage output is higher than the sisters, but unless you can keep the 5 Marines safe to be ready to counterattack oncoming enemies, you will learn very quickly how easy it is to lose 5 Marines to almost any enemy unit. The rules on the tabletop don't match the law. Battle Sisters are best. That statement needs no context, but there are a lot of other options to give you more damage or points dependent, alternate cheap objective holders. It may not be critical to play the Pariah Nexus to include Battleline units, but it is a little something, and in a close competitive game, this could be the something that tips victory in your favour. If your Battle Sisters are on child-minding duty for the objective, perhaps the weapons they carry don't matter, besides the simulacrum, but the Battle Sisters can fill a variety of combat roles. This is what I recommend as the best way to equip your Sisters of Battle. Have a great day with Battle Sisters in 40k.